a brief opinion piece, basically how the findings of cosmology, astronomy, validate what we believe. And this is going to be our own personal interpretation. Basically, there could be multiple universes, but basically we interpret this universe as a particular cycle, right? There could be multiple cycles which correspond to multiple universes, multiple cycles of creation, preservation, annihilation. So the so-called Big Bang in our interpretation is merely the initiation of this particular cycle, the cosmology that we live in presently. And there's a period of basically maintenance, preservation, the beginning of life, the evolution of stars, stellar evolution, the evolution of planets, the evolution of life. Eventually, all states of matter, it's like the laws of thermodynamics, right? So everything is energy, whether we're talking about cosmic background radiation. Eventually, all solid states of energy, basically solid objects, mountains, trees, planets, the integrity of stars, everything is going to ultimately enter a cycle of decay, which we're going to interpret as annihilation. And so basically there's a period of basically expansion, life and expansion, and then there's going to be a long period of annihilation, basically where decay of the universe in accordance to basically the natural law. And then, basically different people have different opinions. Science has different theories. Basically, there could be spontaneous outgrowth of new universes. But basically, this universe, in terms of this particular cycle, it's very well described in terms of the scriptures, in terms of the findings of modern science, from the initiation of this particular cycle, what's going to happen towards the latter stages of the evolution of the universe. And we believe it perfectly corresponds with everything that we understand based on the scriptures. There's a lot to understand from the scriptures, but in terms of science and theological science, theology reinforces science and science directly reinforces theology. So multiple universes, the current cycle of this particular universe, we believe there's a multi-layered approach where basically the advances of theology, theological science, and natural discovery, they correspond to one another and they reinforce one another with no conflict between natural science and theological science. So then one can interpret the purpose of the human spirit is to realize moksha or liberation. Then we're no longer worried about basically how many eons, how many more cycles of the universe in terms of initial expansion, preservation, annihilation, how many times universes fold and unfold. Basically, even in terms of this particular cosmology that we live in terms of eventually all energy, the decay of solid energy into basically radiation. The purpose of the spiritual purpose is to realize this full integration, completeness with God, and then basically you're no longer worried about the cycles of creation, and basically how long the universe is going to basically stay in basically more of a degenerated form upon the decay of stars. So the purpose on a personal level is to realize that liberation, to realize that moksha, that complete and full integration with God. So basically then you're transcending the natural cycles of creation, the natural laws, and you're liberated from such basically the vicious cycles of just pure natural law. So the purpose of the human life in terms of what we know about the universe is to realize that complete and full integration with God.